Hi, I'm Toni.
Hi, I'm Kate.
And welcome to Sip and Stim.
Pour a cup, take a break, settle down and join us on a whim. Gentle thoughts, honest talks, it's time for Sip and Stim.
For those of you new here, I'm Toni, a behavior analyst.
And I'm Kate, a parent of 2 children on opposite ends of the autism spectrum.
Sip and Stim is a podcast for parents and caregivers navigating autism and everyday life. So, Kate, you were sharing in a couple of episodes ago about your family and how you have 2 children, both with autism diagnoses. I know you were sharing there's a big difference in their personalities, and I'm very excited today because we get to bring on your very own Roz to our show. So that'll be really fun to kind of hear her input, and it's kind of special because not only does she have input as a person that does have autism, but as a sibling of her brother who has autism, which from what I understand is pretty severe.
Yes.
So that would be really great to hear her input and her insight about that. I think one of the big topics that comes up a lot, at least when I'm providing therapy to my families or consultation to the families, is how do I tell my child they have autism? Mm-hmm. Do I tell my child? When do I? Help me tell my child.
Yeah.
And I will let your daughter kind of share her insights on that, and if one should know, if they should be informed and how. But I think there might not necessarily be a specific right way to do that. But I think it'd be really great to kind of hear your take and your story and how your family kind of shared with your children about their diagnosis.
Yeah, so with Grayson, we could tell him, but he just doesn't really understand. We tell him regularly that he is special and that he is loved, but I think comprehending that he has autism, I don't think that he would really understand that. But Roslyn, she was diagnosed when she was around 2, and ever since she was diagnosed, we kind of just incorporated autism into our daily life and vocabulary, and she has just grown to know that it's just something that she has. We don't treat her differently at all than any other kid, and she just realizes that I think it's just a norm. It's her norm. And we never, my husband and I never sat down and we didn't discuss, this is what we're going to talk about, this is how we're going to bring it up, but it just kind of happened that way. When she did get a little bit older, I think right before she went to 1st grade, I did homeschool her for kindergarten. So before we went to 1st grade, I did sit her down, and we had to come up with a 504 plan for school. So at that time, she was understanding things a lot better, and we did say to her that we were going to be doing a 504 plan. I kind of explained to her what it was, but she didn't really it didn't really faze her. But then, when we told her why, and that she had an autism diagnosis, and that's what we were basically why we were doing the plan, that is when she started asking some questions, and just wanted to make sure that she understood things, because she did understand Grayson having profound autism and severe delays in other areas. So I do remember distinctly her asking, am I like Grayson? And will I be like Grayson, and things like that. And, reassuring her that no, you guys, yes, you may have the same diagnosis, but you are on totally different ends of that spectrum, it really, I think it kind of helped her a lot. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. They have a lot of similar qualities, but they're very different in so many ways. But yeah, telling her was, it was kind of easy, but not at the same time. I can assume other parents probably have a lot of back and forth with themselves, trying to determine if they want to, or trying to decide, I guess, if they want to really go there or not.
So is that something that you felt like, do I want to tell her? Did you ever feel that or have that thought of, should I? I know you did it early on, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very important for her to know because it's part of her character. I do think that it defines who she is. It's part of her. So I do think that us not telling her would have been like denying a part of her. So I do think it's very important.
So you never really contemplated not telling her. You just kind of always knew that that was the right thing.
Yeah. I do stand by that today. I think it is very important. She might not think that she has many quirks and signs of it, but you know, she masks very well during the day and at school. But when she is at home, we see a lot of it, and she is very, very, very intelligent. She sees things, remembers things that I honestly don't know how she can, but I think if we wouldn't have told her, she would have caught on eventually. But I think being transparent is the best option.
Yeah. I can imagine that would be very hard for an individual to catch on and wonder why your family never shared. I don't live your life, but I do know a lot of children and a lot of children that have autism that are very near and dear to me, and I also stand by like sharing that. And for me, in a professional role or a more removed loved one role, I always emphasize that, you know, people always assume that it has to be such a negative sharing of information, and I think that it really doesn't have to be delivered in that way, and nor do I believe that it is negative. I think I love quirky people. So I think that's why I just kind of love being surrounded by individuals that have autism. I think they're some of the most brilliant, interesting people that I know. So I know, like, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like every family that I've ever met that does have a loved one with autism, especially a parent, it seems like they kind of go through these phases of grief, and there's sometimes some trauma associated with it due to whatever it may be, whatever event. Did you find yourself, like, I know you shared a little bit about your story and your kind of healing and growth in that regard, but can you tell me a little bit more about how that plays into your sharing of autism with your daughter, or what tools you kind of utilized and how they helped you to get to that point of being able to share with her? And maybe even, I don't know, maybe the first time you shared was a little bit harder, and maybe as she's gotten older it might have become more normalized or easier. I'm not sure, but can you just elaborate a little bit on that?
Yeah. So I find myself not really having trouble talking to her about her autism. Where I find myself having trouble is talking to her about her brother.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's necessarily because it's just his is so severe, and his future is just so unknown at this point, or if it's just because it's her brother. I don't know, but I do find myself, when we talk about things that involve Grayson, you know, she tends to get very emotional, especially when it comes to the future, and there's a lot of panic attacks and things like that, and it's very hard to kind of stay stoic when it comes to being the brave one. when we talk about things, and I'm usually the one who discusses things with her. My husband tries, but he has his own deficits in a lot of social skills due to his autism as well. So it's I have a feeling I'm okay feeling. I have okay feeling speaking to her about it. I don't have any problems, telling her what she can expect or what she has or what she doesn't have, or, her positive things or things she needs to work on or things like that. I think she is very special, and I tell her regularly she is very intelligent, and she's just a great kid. She really is. But when it comes to her brother, I have to often think about things a little bit harder. And I think also his medical issues on top of that really kind of go along with it. It's trying to explain to her in more common terms, ways that she can understand that, he has a brain disease and, epilepsy and et cetera, et cetera. So, there is definitely a lot that she understands, but there's a lot that she doesn't understand. But she's very smart, and she's very willing to learn and listen.
Yeah, and I know that, like you were sharing, there's significant differences not only in their personalities, but the types of support they receive. And you were sharing that you have a lovely nurse and a therapist that's now going to be helping your family more frequently, which I think is a huge thing. So yeah, you could. I mean, it's probably very clear that to her that the needs and how it's impacting their lives are very different. Yeah, I can imagine that's a hard thing to navigate.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming, that you don't want to burden your daughter, not that I'm saying that she might not feel that way, but I'm sure there's a component where you want to alleviate that burden unless she chooses to do so.
Yeah. And she definitely gets support as well. I mean, she sees a music therapist, and so she is able to express herself in those sessions. And she's actively involved in all of Grayson's ABA sessions at home. So she's made really great progress pairing with his therapists.
That's good.
And she's often playing with him and doing activities that they're all doing. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah, so she has her own little clique with the group. So she's definitely involved.
They definitely become like an extension of your family.
Absolutely.
Definitely there's that professional component that's never going to leave, but it's a unique therapy for sure, just due to the way that it's structured. But so I don't know if you've shared this before, but I was listening and you were sharing that your husband has autism as well. Can you share a little bit about his story? Like, when did he know? Did his family share it with him? Or do you know much about that?
So he was not diagnosed until he was almost 30 years old.
Okay.
And he was diagnosed after I began working in the field.
And you noticed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was not working in the field yet. And I just said to him, you are very quirky. You have a lot of strange things that you do that I do not think people that are neurotypical do. And I said, I really think that you should just be tested just to see. I mean, what's the worst that they're going to tell you? And so I had a coworker at the Center for Autism where I was working, and he agreed to do an evaluation for him outside of the office. And so he evaluated him. He's a psychiatrist, did a psych eval, and determined that yes, Derek has autism. And now that once he got the diagnosis, like there was no doubt, like he knew it without really having the diagnosis, before he had it. He just needed to have it
The confirmation.
on paper.
Did he have any inkling that he might have autism before you shared that with him?
No, because he was told throughout his childhood that he had ADHD.
Okay.
And I've noticed a lot of people my age and around his age, we were all often told, oh, this person has ADHD, and then they're just kind of pushed aside. And I think it's because autism was just so taboo, and they just didn't really know a whole lot.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, he definitely has so many of the quirks. He is your typical high-functioning adult, brilliant at many, many things. I really am jealous at a lot of the intelligence that he has. And he is just very, 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 like, he knows everything about everything. But when it comes to social skills, he is absolutely horrid. So we like to balance each other out. He brings the book smarts, I bring the street smarts and the social skills that he just lacks. So, but he's a wonderful person. He's very sweet and very intelligent, BCBA. And he does bring that side, his personal side of his story, into his BCBA work.
I'm sure that makes it more, he's more passionate.
Oh yeah.
Now, I know we're not a romance podcast here, but I'm just watching you talk about him, and I just see like the adoration that you have for him, and I think that's really, important to share, especially with our younger generation individuals that have found that they have a diagnosis that makes him special. That's, I'm imagining, just by the way you're talking, imagining that's part of why you guys kind of ended up together. So I think that is just such a beautiful thing to share with, families and our younger generation, that is, like you were sharing, like with Roz, that's part of her personality, and you also talk about her with such adoration. So I think that's just, I love that. I love seeing that. And I will say, I feel, the individuals, I have some relatives in my family that have autism, and I feel similarly about them, of just like, they're just so unique, so talented. Honestly, some of the most talented people that I know are the ones that have autism. And like you said, I am jealous of their ability, and just their ability to focus. Just that, sometimes it can be a challenge, but there are times where I'm so jealous of someone's ability to hyper-focus. Yeah. I'm sure his clients are so lucky. I mean, just to have someone that understands in a different level. And there's all kinds of levels, there's the level of just being a parent. I'm really glad that I was a mom before I became a BCBA. That's one level. But then to be someone that has a loved one, a children that have autism, and then to be someone that actually lives it, that gets it. I know everyone's so different, and not everyone's going to have the same understanding or life experiences, but to get it is just such a level of expertise. Like, you just get it. Yeah. Did he become a BCBA before he knew he was diagnosed, or was that after? No, so he became a tech before he was diagnosed, and then proceeded to go back to school for his ABA cert and all of that after he was diagnosed. But before we had Grayson. So after Grayson was born, that's when he really was like diving deeper into things. And I mean, having Grayson didn't change anything. He was still really pushing to be a BCBA. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, I think him being a BCBA has helped in a lot of ways. But we always joke with our staff that comes into the home that we are not clinicians for our kid. Right. So that's why they're there. That's
hold
great.
that.
That's great, because I'm sure there's a level of like intimidation of they know everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, I will say this a million times. I'm never going to complain, never going to say that I know what it's like, living that. But I can say as a mom, I am the worst behavior analyst with my children.
Yeah.
And I just love that I have that experience, because I have so much more tolerance for families when they mess up and things are messy, and this is real life. We're not in a laboratory. This is real life, and behavior is not simple.
Yeah.
It's complex. So I'm glad that you guys expressed that to your team, because I'm sure there's a level of intimidation that could be felt if it wasn't that vibe.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And we usually start right out when a new tech starts. We've both been in this field before, and we are here as parents. We're not here as staff. That's your job. So we really do pull back, but we definitely do a lot of data collection in the back of our minds, and we are not afraid to bring things up and raise questions if we have them.
And I think that's part of being your child's biggest advocate, and I don't think that should ever stop.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, as a parent, I don't know if you guys feel this way. I feel like there's such an emotional component that you really can't always like grasp onto. It's not really tangible. You can't really explain, or maybe a psychologist could understand better. But me as a behavior analyst, that's just, it's there. We're human. I respect the human emotions and the feelings and the humanistic aspect of it. But that's what I feel like the biggest barrier is as a parent, and trying to understand and apply behavior concepts. I don't know if that's what you feel, but that, I don't always see myself. I'm not going to be great at observing myself.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what you guys might feel?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
So there was a question I was going to ask. It's slipping my mind. Do you guys participate in, that parent consultation, that parent training aspect? Does that look different? I know you're not a behavior analyst, but you've been in the field. And a huge part of seeing progress for our children is to collaborate. And that's not just with another professional, it's with the family, with the teachers. And I know when you're looking at insurance-based ABA, and if there's ever any behavior intervention, I suggest parent involvement. But what does that look like with your teams? Because you guys are so knowledgeable.
So we don't have regular meetings. We meet as a large team. So his neurology team, urology, all of everything.
Okay.
So we do meet as a team with the educational side, and we do that once about every 6 weeks or so. So I'm actively involved in that. I'm at every single session at home. And then the staff that works with him at the autism center he goes to, I meet with them once every couple weeks.
Okay.
I'm very actively involved with his planning, his programming, the way that things are being taught to him. Derek's a little bit more occupied with his job, so he doesn't really get a whole lot, but he is brought up to speed. He's involved with the big decision things. Yeah, so I would say we don't sit down and have a training session per se. It's more of a conversation.
Yeah.
But I mean, I am very actively involved in every step of the way. I get to put in my 2 cents. I've collected data and things like that. So yeah, I mean, I do what I have to do.
That's great. I mean, you're acknowledging that there's a higher level of knowledge and experience there, and you're making that time meaningful. And I think it's huge that his medical team is involved in the collaboration. You don't always see that.
Yeah.
And I really respect medical professionals that give families that time. That's invaluable for sure. So I would really love to bring on Roz and kind of hear what she has to say. I think our listeners would love to hear some of her insights, and it would be very eye-opening for families. So what do you say? Bring on Roz now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so Roz, it's exciting to get to meet you. So I don't know much about you yet. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Roz. How old are you?
I'm 10.
10. And is Roz a nickname?
Yes.
What's your real name?
Rosalind.
Rosalind, I love it. And Kate, how do you know Kate?
My mom.
Okay, she's your mom. And your mom shared with me that she has 2 children. So do you have a sibling?
Yes.
Okay, and tell me about them.
Well, my brother's name is Grayson.
Okay. How old is he?
He's 9.
Okay. Any fun facts you want to share about him or what he likes doing?
We like to watch movies, draw,
Okay.
and watch videos together.
Fun. It seems like that makes you happy. I see you smiling. And tell me something about yourself. Give me a fun fact.
I play violin and I'm good at drawing and painting.
Awesome. I love that. I did not know you play violin. I knew you liked music, but I didn't know about the violin. So one thing that I want to ask is, do you have an autism diagnosis?
Yes.
Okay. And when did you find out about that?
Very young.
Very young? Do you remember when your mom told you about that?
Not really.
Okay. So I'm going to actually hand the mic over to your mom. She's going to share a little bit about you or ask you some questions. Or you're welcome to ask any question that you might have.
My question is, why do you do the job that you do?
Sure. So I'm a BCBA, and I work with children that have autism, and I help their families. And the reason why I got into what I am doing for work is because I met a little boy who had autism, and I thought he was the coolest little guy. He was in kindergarten, and he was really smart, and he remembered all of the lines to the TV show that he was watching. And when I first met him, I just was so amazed, and I never met anyone like that in my life, and it just kind of started my interest in learning about people that have these amazing skills and abilities that just so happen to have autism. So that's how I got started. And the more I learn, the more I'm around people, the more I love it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to ask kind of a few questions. So do you remember when we told you that you had autism?
No.
Okay, because it was a long, long time ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you hear the word autism, do you think of like bad things, good things, or what types of things do you think about?
I don't think they're bad and good. I feel like they're good and bad in their own ways.
Okay. Can you give me an example of what you're thinking?
Like for good, they have their own personality, and for bad, I feel like sometimes they can't control what they're doing.
It's very valid. So you know Grayson, you know that he has pretty severe autism. What are some good things that you see that Grayson does on a daily basis?
He can still interact with people, even though it's sometimes hard.
Yeah. What about some more challenging things?
Like when he gets denied access to something.
My little BCBA.
I heard that. I hear that word.
What happens when he's denied access to something?
He like gets into a full-blown tantrum.
Yeah. And he has behaviors when that happens?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it can be really difficult. So, like I said, your brother has autism and you also have autism.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you guys have a lot of similarities, or do you find yourself having a lot of differences?
It depends on like what topic.
Okay.
But say if it's like the topic that we both like, we both like watching movies, drawing.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And are there things that maybe he does that make you frustrated or upset?
When he makes loud noises.
Mm-hmm. You don't like loud noises.
Mm-mm.
Okay. And what kind of things does he do that make you happy?
Well, when he plays with me and we draw, color, paint, watch movies or anything.
He likes to cuddle with you a lot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool.
So you were saying that loud noises bother you. Does anything else bother you, like the way that certain things feel or textures? Or
Yeah, some textures bother me, like cloud and like sticky textures.
cloud and sticky?
Mhm.
Like, do you mean like a like cotton candy?
Yeah.
Would that be awful for you?
And like, 'cause it's sticky.
Okay. What about like lights?
Lights, it depends how bright the lights are.
Okay. Like right now, I know we have a lot of lights on us. Does that bother you?
No.
No? Okay.
What about like flashing lights,
Yes.
like strobe lights? That bothers
Mhm.
you?
Do you notice if those things bother your brother the same as they do to you, or does he have different things that bother him?
Well, I know for like some games and stuff, when it has flashing lights, it gives you a warning.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't really know because we've never had him like play one of those games
Okay.
really.
So you just kind of avoid that for him.
Mhm.
Is that because he has seizures? Okay. Does he seem to be bothered when he hears loud noises?
It depends how loud the noises are.
Okay.
He likes to make loud noise, but
But
if
he
it's
hates
not
having
him,
one.
yeah, if it's not him making the loud noise, then
It's one-sided.
it bothers him. Mhm.
Do you make loud noises?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Okay.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about school. You're in what grade?
5th.
5th grade. And do you have a lot of friends at school?
A decent amount.
Yeah. And are they mainly kids in your grade or?
Mostly kids in my grade.
Okay. Are there extra things that you do at school that not all kids do? Like, I know you do orchestra,
Mhm.
but you also do like groups and things like that, right?
Yeah.
What groups are you doing right now?
I have math groups because it's hard sometimes when I have to do math
Okay.
and I need extra explaining. But for like some math, I still don't understand after they tell me multiple times.
So what
Like
do you-
for example, volume, we've been doing it in our classroom, but I still don't get it.
Okay. So what do you do in those situations?
Just try my best.
Okay. But do you have to ask your teacher for extra help, or do you need like extra directions, or how does that work out for you?
It depends who I'm like gonna see next. Like if it's my other teacher for my group, I'll ask her.
Mhm.
But if it's like in my classroom, like after the group, I'll ask my teacher.
Do you like seeing things done or someone telling you, or do you like doing things yourself to learn?
Doing things myself and getting explained to.
Okay, I get that. Do your friends at school know about your autism?
Like my close friends.
Okay. And when you told them, how did you tell them?
Just like told them like little bits and then, yeah.
Do they seem to treat you any differently because you have autism?
No.
Okay.
What about your favorite subject? What do you find is the easiest thing at school?
Art and music.
Yeah. And is math still the hardest, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
ELA's a close second though.
Yeah. And in school, do you have any special accommodations that are made for you because of your autism? Like special like arrangements that are made for you because of your autism?
A 504 plan
Yeah, so what is in your 504 plan
that I need extra time and to not be timed for stuff.
yeah, because what happens if you're timed on things?
I get stressed and then I get upset.
And how do you calm yourself down?
Using like doing what colors, like what items I can see in colors in English and Spanish.
Okay. At home then, what kind of things stress you out there?
Like when my brother, he gets a tantrum or really loud.
Do you find that you get more upset or have a harder time in one place or the other? Like, is home harder to be at or is school harder to be at?
It depends on the day, but mostly home.
Mostly home? Okay.
Especially when my mom tells me to clean my room or do chores.
So you don't like cleaning your room or doing chores?
Nope.
Oh, okay. What about if you don't like something that someone else is doing? Will you tell them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay, that's good.
Well, unless there's someone that I know that aren't going to listen when I ask them to do something.
Like you're talking to a brick wall or something. Yeah, I get that. You kind of learn those people.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
So, you were telling me, and your mom asked you if you remember when you first were shared about your autism. And I'm curious, what are your thoughts? Do you think it's good that you know that you have autism?
I think it's good because then you know how, maybe how you're going to react to some stuff.
Okay.
Or, you can tell people easier, or instead of just being like, oh, I have a diagnosis or something, because you
Okay.
don't actually know what it is.
Gotcha. And so if someone were to ask you, should I tell my daughter that she has autism, what would you tell them?
It depends if your kid is going to react differently, or you know that they're just going to react normally.
Okay.
But, if they're going to react normally, go for it.
Let's talk a little bit more about your brother.
Hmm?
So, you know that he has autism and he has some other disabilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there things that you know about but you don't really understand?
Well, I don't really know how it caused,
Mm-hmm.
because technically there's no scientific studies of what causes it.
Causes autism?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or epilepsy.
Well, we kind of know why
Well,
he has the epilepsy.
They're kind of related in some way
I mean, they're both neurological
for
conditions.
some people,
Mhm.
but for others that just have autism, like me, they don't have epilepsy.
Yeah.
Which gives me a question: why is it that my brother does and I don't?
Well, your brother had, when he was born with brain damage. And you didn't have brain damage when you were born.
My question is, why did he have brain damage and I didn't?
He had oxygen cut off when he was
Is
born.
it from the knot in his...
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he was born with a very tight umbilical cord knot that cut off his oxygen supply. And that caused him to have lack of oxygen to the brain. So the doctors believe that that's what caused his PVL, paraventricular leukomalacia. And so that it's like a precursor for cerebral palsy.
Okay.
And it's an early onset of that. It's like that.
Sometimes
Is
your
that
speech.
why he can't talk?
No, we don't know why he can't talk.
Or is it just because of, there's no, you don't know why?
Yeah, we're not sure. We've been
Do you
looking-
think it's another condition?
Possibly. We've been looking for 9 years for an answer, so.
But, some people in our school, they also can't, talk. They can make sounds, though.
Yeah, your brother makes sounds.
So how does your brother communicate if he can't speak?
He uses, a board of, options. So, he has a food board, a toy board, and, sometimes, they do stuff for assessments, and they make him ask for, open, closed, help, more, yes, no, all done. Mm-hmm.
Do those things help him to tell you what he needs or wants?
Yes. And then like for his like Christmas concert this year, they made him put like the words. They put the words into the iPad, so then he could somewhat like say the words, even though he couldn't like verbally.
Yeah.
And what did we do for Halloween this year? It was something different, right?
So we took the iPad and we put trick or treat and thank you on it, and whenever like he would go up to the door, he would tap trick or treat, and then when he would get candy, he would tap thank you.
And every time he went up to a house, he would press trick or treat, thinking he would get another piece of candy. So it was trick or treat like 15 times at everybody's house. So, but it was the first time that we did something like that, and we thought it was really interesting to see the difference between last year and this year. We noticed a lot more people actually responded well to him. Because he had the device and he was able to communicate.
Like last year, they didn't understand if like he wanted candy or not, but they would still give it. But like I could hear some people being like, "Oh, here you go," instead of just being like.
Yeah, well, they acknowledged him a lot more this past year, and so we will definitely do that again.
Yeah.
And I think he had a lot of fun kind of pushing the buttons on the tablet. So
what did you guys dress up as?
I dressed up as Glinda from Wicked.
Okay.
And Grayson, he was Darth Vader.
Okay.
Inside of the wagon as his like
Death Star.
Oh,
yes.
That's fun. So you were saying that people responded a lot better to him. Are there times when people treat him badly when you're at places?
Well, like one time when we were at the grocery store, I don't know the full story because I wasn't there.
We've gotten a lot of dirty looks.
So when you go places and people treat your brother poorly, how does that make you feel, or what do you feel? What do you do?
Upset, but I don't really do anything because sometimes I'm like too nervous.
Yeah. So I think a big part of that is just people becoming more aware
and understanding.
How do you think that we could do that? I mean, how do we?
Well, I feel like some of it is that they don't know like why or the reasoning of autism, but how we could help it is maybe tell them, but we don't want to really like tell them because they're like not part of the family.
Okay.
So you don't want to air out like the dirty laundry per se, but you want to make people aware.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I think education and awareness is a huge thing for people to learn, to better understand. We've had our fair share of very nasty comments, nasty looks. We've had the police called on us numerous times. All because he's a little boy who likes to have fun. But yeah, so we have our challenges, but you know, we've also seen a lot of people that are very compassionate and understanding too. So it's kind of like 70-30, but yeah, I mean, we've met some really great people along the way too. It's not all bad.
Yeah, because it's kind of hard. I mean, can you look at someone and tell that they have autism? Do they look different?
No. But it depends on how they act.
Yeah. I have another question. So your brother, his autism looks a little bit different than yours. You're very different people. How does that make you feel? Are there things in your life that you might miss out on or that are done differently because your brother has such severe autism?
Well, before I answer that, I have a question for you.
For me?
Yeah.
Okay.
How does it make you feel that both of your kids have autism?
It's a good question. I think if you would have asked me that question 5 years ago, my answer would be very different than it is today. You know, I've really come to learn that both you and your brother are very special, and you both have great qualities. Yes, your brother especially has some challenges, but I think that I would not change either of you. It took me a long time to kind of get here to that answer, but yeah.
Can I ask you another question?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you did to get to that point? Like 5 years ago is so much different than today.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get to where you are today?
A lot of soul searching. I am a firm believer that I need to put myself in other people's shoes. I will do that in any situation with anyone that I see. I don't necessarily, it's not always easy, but that and a lot of acceptance and commitment therapy. That was the one, I think, true thing that really helped me get to where I'm at now. I'm going on 3 years of it now, and so I'm still working at it every day, but it's definitely worth it, and I'm very lucky that I've had the opportunity to have such a great therapist to work with me. But I would be lying if I said it wasn't, if it was easy, because it's not. It has been very challenging, but yeah, I would say putting myself in other people's perspectives. Definitely.
That's a very, that takes a lot of humility to do that. Because I could imagine it's very hard to not take things personally, not, lash out, be irrational. When sometimes maybe you could be and you're justified, but it takes a lot of humility just to get to that place, I can imagine. And I will say, I think we need more of that ACT therapy. Mm-hmm. For not just families, for people that do have autism themselves, people that aren't impacted by autism, which I would probably be safe to say that most of us have been impacted by autism mm-hmm. in some fashion. So I think it's really great that you had that, but it's definitely a unicorn mm-hmm. that you've had that experience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wish more people had access, especially parents and caregivers. Really wish that they had access to that type of service, because it is so imperative that parents and caregivers are able to take care of themselves. And
absolutely,
I think therapy is a huge benefit for people to really process through their feelings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I have one more question.
Yeah.
Maybe two. So if there is anything that you would want everybody to learn about your brother, what would it be?
That it doesn't depend on how you look or act. It's about what's inside that counts.
Now, what's one thing that you would want people to know about you?
That you don't have to be like high functioning or low functioning to be treated differently.
I think that's very wise advice there, Roz. That it matters what's inside, not about how you look, how you act. I think sometimes it makes it difficult for people that don't understand when they see someone that doesn't look any different than them, but then they act differently. I think that's hard. Roz, thank you so much for coming. It was such a pleasure to get to meet you. I feel like I know your mom a little bit more because now I know you, and you're such a big part of who she is. And I'm excited because I think that we get to meet some more of your family in the future. And I just thank you for being willing to share some of the harder things and all the positive things. I think that the world has a lot to learn from you. Mm-hmm. Well, that was a lot of fun, bringing on Roz and hearing her insight. I am very excited to be able to get into share a little bit about our next episode. But before we do so, I just want to send a shout out and a thank you to Lancaster Catholic High School and the Dolores Kirsch Smith Multimedia Learning Center for allowing us to use their space and helping us to present to you our first filmed episode of our podcast. And our next podcast will actually be bringing on
my husband Derek will be coming in. We're keeping it in the family for the next couple episodes. And he's going to bring his story and some of the things that he has encountered as a BCBA having autism.
So we hope you'll join us, and we hope that you found this episode helpful, informative, and hopefully we brought a few laughs as well. And we're looking forward to seeing you all next time.
Sip and stim. Sip and stim.